Attention to all American citizens. If you have any trips coming up where you're going to be flying overseas, out of the country, then this is a video you need to pay very close attention to. And why do I say that? Because there are alleged rumors that they are canceling people's passports. And I say allegedly, why? Because there are tons of videos that have been popping up all over social media with people claiming that their passports have been canceled and their lives have been completely ruined. And case in point, this article from the Daily Dot. Check out the caption. Third voided passport video I've seen. Americans are landing abroad only to learn their passports were quietly canceled. And that little joke right underneath there makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, it's nearly impossible to cancel a gym membership. And to make things even more crazier, all of the videos, if you watch them, they all have the same exact story. They go on vacation, they land in a foreign country, and they're told their passport has been canceled. And they didn't do the canceling. They are being told altogether that the passports were reported stolen, or in a couple of cases, lost. What's not making a lot of sense is when you show up to the airport in the US and you present your passport, they're letting you board. So then what happens once you're in the air? Because when you land, they stop you and flag you and say there's an alert on your passport. So the one thing I can suggest you do is call the National Passport Office and ask them the question, is my passport valid? Has it been reported stolen? Has it been reported flagged? Has it been reported lost? That might save you a heck of a lot of trouble. But at the end of the day, no matter where you go all over social media, these horror stories are popping up everywhere, and they're finally starting to get some type of exposure. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And
this is pretty big news in the travel world this week, so let me fill you in and give you my take. There have been 5 TikTok videos I've seen of people coming forward saying that they traveled outside of the United States and were stopped by Interpol, the international police, because their passports had been marked as stolen and therefore were invalid. They had to either return home or go to the embassy and get an emergency passport that day. But every single one of these people is saying, I have my passport, I've used it, I didn't mark it stolen. A guy who went to Thailand and had this happen to him said that he called the Department of State, called Homeland Security, the US Passport Office. No one had any information, but from a TikTok comment, he was able to find out that his local passport office had been the one to mark it as stolen. And we don't know why yet. It's like happening this week. I'm seeing all these stories come out. I've seen a few reports say that it's clerical error. My take, my belief is that it is AI. I think that more companies and even the US federal agencies, which is insane, are using AI to do some of these things. And I think it's AI marking people's passports as invalid or stolen. And if you're wondering if you can check if your passport's valid before one of your upcoming trips, unfortunately, you cannot. The only way you'll find out is by traveling outside the country, which is when you perhaps least want to find that out. That's all the information I have. If it happens to you, all I can say is that you should know the process for getting an emergency passport from a nearby embassy. Look up the information before your trip and hope it doesn't happen to you. I hope it doesn't happen to more people.
If you're an American and you have an international trip coming up, you need to see this because supposedly, allegedly, they are canceling people's passports. And this is one of those things that can ruin your life in real time. There are people that have went on vacation, landed in another country, got off the plane, and then were told their passports were canceled. Not by them. They didn't report it. They didn't lose it. They were told it was marked as lost or stolen. Now, mind you, when you check into the airport in the United States, they're letting you check in. They're letting you get on these international flights. Everything is fine. Mind you, when you land in another country, they're saying that it's an alert on your passport. Now, if you go down the rabbit hole of passport not lost or stolen TikTok, you will see that there are numerous people saying this. So why are people's passports being reported stolen? A man said that he was deported from Thailand. A woman said that she went to Rome and almost couldn't get back to the United States. If she didn't have all of her information, birth certificate, ID, passport, social security card, she would have been a Rome citizen. Now you gotta ask yourself, why are they randomly canceling people's passports? Now you gotta remember this, a lot of people said that they wanted to leave the United States because of things that's going on. They are willing to move out of the United States where they were born and raised because all of these things are going on. I need you to keep that in mind. And now randomly, they're canceling people's passports. Also, people are saying that they've been detained, sent straight back, or forced to rush to the U.S. Embassy to drop off $300 for an emergency passport on the spot. That's panic money. Right now, there's only one thing that you can actually do. Call the National Passport Information Center, have your passport with you, tell them you're calling to confirm whether your passport is valid or flagged, or lost, or stolen. This is where we're at right now. So if you're traveling, please don't ignore this. I'm out.
This video is not super fun to make. However, I was encouraged to make it by the office of my congressional representative, which is a crazy thing to say out loud. Someone or something in the Trump administration wiped my existence from the US passport database. Let me explain. On December 19th, 2025, I received a notice at 2:17 in the morning, local time here in Los Angeles, that my access to the Global Entry Traveler Program had been revoked. And the reason for my revocation was that I no longer met the requirements for the Global Entry Program. Now, the requirements are not having been charged with a felony, check, never been charged with a felony, having valid identification and documents, check, I have valid documents. My passport was not expired. And one of the last things on the eligibility list was not under investigation for terrorism. Well, that exact day, Pam Bondi sent a letter to the FBI requesting that pro-trans activists be labeled as domestic terrorists. I'm shaking. So, as many of you guys know, I am a pro-trans activist. I have worked with the ACLU during the U.S. versus Scrimeti case. I have a trans partner. I have a trans sister. I am very blessed to have many trans friends. And I have worked as a healthcare provider, providing gender-affirming care for trans youth. And needless to say, I freaked the fuck out. I did also contact friends of mine who are attorneys and friends of mine who work in the federal government. And I was told there is a chance that this could have just been a clerical error. And so for the sake of my mental health, I just went with that. And they told me to go ahead and apply to renew my passport online and see what happens next. So last week I did just that. And I applied on the US passport website to renew my passport online as it expires this coming year. I was then told that no one with my identity was found anywhere in the US passport system. At this point, I got in contact with my congressional representative and his office, and was told by one of the field staff here in Los Angeles that this specific notice was unusual and that there had been a record of clerical errors where people had been removed from the passport system because their passport was incorrectly marked lost or stolen. That is not what happened to me. And I was told that if that had happened, the error message that I received would have said that. It didn't. It said that no one with my identity was found anywhere in the US passport system. So, with the help of my congressional representative and his office, I am now waiting for an appointment with the US passport office here in Los Angeles to see what's going on, to see if there are any holds on my access to my legal documents that would allow me to travel and leave the country. And why this is happening, because right now no one seems to have a clear reason why. And again, it could be clerical error. However, knowing that I am allegedly the only person that this specific series of events has happened to, and also knowing that the Global Entry Program is a completely different governmental agency than the passport system, and that both of them had been alerted of me. I don't know. So that is my update for you guys. And if I go dark, I need you guys to be really loud. And if this continues to happen to people, or if this happens to you or someone you know, please get in contact with your congressional representative and just know that there are pathways. And that also you are not alone, because I have been alone this whole time. I didn't think this was happening to anybody else. And I still don't know of anyone else that this exact series of events has happened to. So That is my update. Thank you for watching. And yeah, holy shit.